Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fun episode of You and I Builder Live, the show where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes Earl forgets that he's on camera. My name is Maria Gabriela Ochoa Perez Vector, and I'm an outbound product manager on the UI Builder team. And our new co host is with us today. Take it away.
Travis Tolson, a senior developer advocate. Where do we go now?
Hi, Christy. Um, Today we're going to be picking up from where we last left off last episode, which is one of the rare occasions where we do the same thing twice in a row instead of forgetting about it for 3 months and then coming back to it, trying to remember what happened and then scrambling. Today we're going to continue on the points thing portal. Travis is going to make his screen a little bit taller to fully to help us see the screen better. But do you kind of want to recap the conundrum that we left off with last episode?
Yeah, so last time we had kind of built out the basic scaffold of our leaderboard, and we got our GraphQL API pulling things in and got some leaders on the board. So where we kind of left off was that we had these little, I think these are from Slacks. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they're supposed in Slack, they'll pull up little icons, but in our portal, it's just text with colons around it. So we wanted to talk about fixing that and getting some sweet icons in there.
Yeah, so the question becomes, how are we going to tackle this? Because this is coming from a script include that we brought into UI Builder through a GraphQL data resource. And we've determined that while we can process it all on the UI Builder side, it may not be the best place for it. So what approach do you think we want to take?
Yeah, we were kind of kicking that around last time because, I mean, obviously we could do some things around setting up scripts or client state parameters. Like we could do some processing client side to handle that. So I think right now we're passing everything straight into the text value. So like we could switch that over to a script and do some processing here. But what we were talking about last time was that realistically, anywhere we would present this text, we would want that to be an icon. We wouldn't want it to be this unstructured data. So with that, it would probably make more sense to either do that in the GraphQL API or in the script include itself. And that way we can turn this into more of a structured object and less of a just a plain text field, if that makes sense.
Now, I think our number one priority here is going to be to not affect current features of the points thing bot. So that way we're not messing with the original script include.
Right.
But I like to make my decisions around the cool factor. Which one is going to be the coolest way of doing this? Doesn't have to be too realistically something we would put in a production instance. I like to go by the cool factor for this show.
For the cool factor, I like doing it client side. For the practical side, I'd probably do it in the GraphQL API.
So now we've determined what we should do. What do you want to do?
Let's see. Let's think through how we would do this client side. Just for
Okay.
funsies.
Thought experiment. First, make your screen bigger, please.
Well, see, like I can zoom in.
No, like make the window size bigger.
I can't. Hold on a second. Let me switch to a different desktop. And, well, that was unhelpful.
In the meantime, while Travis figures that out, I'm gonna have one of my I should really come up with a name for this segment of the show, but it's basically where I hop on my soapbox and talk to distract away from what the person showing the screen is doing. So, welcome to that segment of today's show. I want to tell everybody about a new initiative that we've got going in terms of enablement. We've received a lot of feedback over 2024 on what kind of enablement you want to see. And a lot of you enjoy this type of content, which I'm really grateful for because I love hopping on here and hanging out with the community for an hour every couple weeks. But we have heard that you guys want more shorter content. And in an effort to provide that for you guys, we've started a couple of article series on the Next Experience blogs. You can follow a link to the Next Experience Center of Excellence, which I am going to send to Earl. And that's a really funny thing that you just pasted in the chat, but thank you. So what you can do is you can check out the Next Experience Center of Excellence. I'm sharing my screen if you want to switch to that one, Earl. And this is the Center of Excellence. What you can do is you can go back here to Next Experience, go down to the blog section, and check out our new blog series. We are releasing a minimum of 2 new articles every week. So there's going to be a bunch of content coming on 2025. And we cover real world applications, specific answers on specific scenarios. And we've got the UIB Essentials series, the UIB Builder, the UIB Deep Dives, which are coming from some of our engineering SMEs. These are going to be awesome to look for best practices in. And if you want more content like this, or if you want us to cover specifically the content that you want us to cover, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you're looking for. Jokingly enough, actually leaving a helpful is one of the ways that we're looking at this to see how the articles perform. So leave a helpful, like, subscribe, share, tell your third cousin about it, and then tell us what content you want to see us focus on for 2025. I'm very excited about this. I hope that it helps get us closer to better enablement on UI Builder. And we really, really need you guys' opinions on what to cover and whether what we're covering is useful or not. I definitely don't want to pump out a bunch of information that nobody cares to read about. So please provide your feedback. And I hope that was enough time that I bought for Travis.
Absolutely, it was perfect.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and switch back over to today's topic. Waiting for the intern to thank you.
And Gabby got kicked off. All right. So if we're going to tackle this from the client-side standpoint for cool factor, again, in the GraphQL API would probably be the better place for it, but that's just like, it's going to look like a script include approach. So cool factor is definitely in the UI. What I'm thinking is that we create a client state parameter to contain our process data. And then in our get leaderboard, we could do an event mapping when it succeeds and basically update that client state parameter. And then we can pull the client state parameter instead of our data resource data. So basically, the way the data will flow into the application is it will flow into the data resource, from the data resource to its event mapping on success, from there to the client state parameter, and from the client state parameter to the component properties.
Got it.
So that's what I'm thinking.
So, what we can do is we can choose to either utilize the GraphQL data resource we created last episode, which pulls in the leaderboard in a pre-formatted way like the script include wants it, or we could try to leverage the other script include in there that just returns
Ooh, that's true.
the actual names, and then we could try to do the math on who the best on the top last 90 days or something was, which would require us to do that calculation outside of the script include. But it would give us data without the formatting of the leaderboard script include function, which might be easier to process. Do you want to take a look at the GraphQL in the Explorer and see what that one looks like?
Yeah, we can take a look at that. Do you remember which one that is? Because this is our current one.
That's our current one. That one would be oh, actually, I don't think I ended up getting that part figured out. I think I was actually halfway through trying to figure it out. Because if I'm looking at when I first looked into this, I just have a look up multiple records pulling from the points thing table. I don't think my second half of my GraphQL query was very successful.
Okay.
So it might just be better to grab the data already mathed out by the script include instead.
Probably so. Is that the same script include that we're currently using?
Yes, that pulls it with the pre-formatted get leaderboard from the script include.
And so then what would be the function call in that script include for the one that you're talking about?
I thought I had something in the GraphQL data resource that we were just looking at. Isn't there a second method or?
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
all
So I was
board or the
trying to
all board
do.
extra?
I think I was trying to do all board.
Okay.
Hey, we got Tolson Prime in the chat. Hello.
Let's see. And I'll just kind of copy this over to our new API, and then we can work with it from there. All right, so basically what we've got here is we're creating a new scripted resolver for get all board. And we're pulling a glide record on the points thing user. And we are building an array. We may change this up a little bit to make it a little more structured. Let's see. So if we were to do this, we've got a rank. We've got the username and the points. So let's change this into an object. And the main reason for this is just because when you're working on the client side, whether it's UI Builder, whether it's Service Portal, it helps to have structured data. That way you can manipulate it as needed. So what we want is the rank. We want the username, and we want the points. And this way, client side, if we want to rebuild this string, we can easily rebuild that string. But if we need just the rank, just the username, or just the points, we have access to that as well. All right, so because this is a GraphQL API, we do have to think about types when we're doing this, what the data type is. So rank, I'm guessing, is coming back as a number? Or is that coming back as a string? Do we know?
That's a great question.
We'll have to go check that. All right, so let's save this. And we're going to go take a look at this table. So we've got configure table. Let's go take a look at what the data types are. Points is an integer. Username is a string. And then rank would be an integer because that's what we had in the... We were building rank in the script. So let's go back to it. Get all board. All right, so we've got integer, integer. Now it's an integer. little type coercion there.
I am never, ever, ever going to be able to know the number of portals out there that have string plus quote space quote just to not get errors.
Okay, so the resolver on its own does not do anything. We have to actually have we actually have to expose it in our schema. So we'll do get all board, and it is going to return a new type, which will just be a score entry. Now, this type doesn't exist yet, so we're going to create it down here. GraphQL is strongly typed, so we have to make sure all of our types match up. So we're going to pass a rank, which will be an integer. We're going to pass a score, which is an integer. And we're going to pass, was it name? I think. That was a string. And I'll double check that. Is not present. Is it numeric? Might be numeric. And if not, I'll have to look it up. GraphQL types. Name, character, string. Basic types. What do we got? String. Oh, int. int. Save. That should do it. Okay. So int, not integer. So then we go to our all board, make sure username. So I do want to update that one to keep that consistent. Okay, now we need to map our types to our new resolver. So We want that get all board query, and we want to map it to that resolver that we created, the get all board. And so that is actually going to map this function. It's technically a field, but it kind of behaves like a function in this case. But it's going to map this field to this resolver. So in our query, when we ask for the all board, it should now run that script. Now, I believe that I need to add some source mapping to this. And we're going to go GraphQL source. And I'm going to pull up that fancy John Lind series. Let's see. I know it's in here somewhere. Might be the second one. The structure of these schemas are really, really important. So you can see here that we got this at source value. So actually, I wonder if I have to. I might. Let's try it without the source first. And then if it doesn't like it, then we'll go back and try it with the source. Basically, the source allows you to map fields in your types to fields in your returned object from the resolver. So like in this case, it's mapping the short description dot get value from your glide record to your short description field. We may not need it in this case though. So we're going to try it without the source and see how it goes. Get all board run.
And if anybody wants to learn more about GraphQL data resources and their effect on performance, Travis literally yesterday released a new video that Earl is going to link in the chat, all around GraphQL APIs for better performance. Now, is that going to be a part of are you going to do more GraphQL content, or was that just kind of a one-off?
Basically what I've been trying to do is, as we are building stuff out here on UNI Builder Live, as we're encountering issues or topics of interest, I've been trying to carve out content to kind of recap some of what we've been doing here.
Man,
that's
a really good idea. I wish I'd come up with it.
So if we are continuing to build out GraphQL here, then I'll probably be continuing to do GraphQL content for the other stuff. Score, username, and rank. There we go. Okay, so when I did not have this, you'll notice that I got an error, a validation error. Basically, this returns a type, that custom type that we created, the score entry. And so in my query, I have to tell it which fields I want. And this is one of those really cool things about GraphQL queries, is that I can tell it to just return the score if I want to. Now, of course, in this case, that's silly. We want all the information, but you can imagine if you were returning glide records, you can imagine where you might want to return all of the fields from that record, or you might want to skip some of the dot walked fields to improve your performance. Okay, so we have our username, we have our rank, but our score is coming back null. So let's go see. Oh, that's why, because it's not score, it's points. So we'll save that. And basically what's happening is each of the fields in our object here are being mapped to these field names here. And if the field names match up, then your GraphQL query will have that particular field on it. And if not, then it doesn't have it. So that's why my score field didn't have a value, because there was no property on the object called score. So then we need to come back here and do points and run it. Okay, so we've got points, username, and rank. And it is sorted. Largest to smallest. So that query is working. Now, we only want 25, right? Like, oh, top 5%. How many are we trying to return in this, Gabby?
I think there's 4. I think there's anywhere from like. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I don't know how many. However many works.
All right. Well, initially, we'll dump all of it. Initially, we'll dump all of it. All right. So now that we have our all board GraphQL API set up, the next thing we have to do is I need this query, and we're going to build out our next data resource. And it's going to be a GraphQL one. Oops, I have to create it. Get all board.
We don't have that already?
So the other one was for the leaderboard. So basically, these when you're setting up a GraphQL data broker, it is on a per query basis, not a per API basis.
Got it.
So if you want a different query, you have to create a new data broker. Does not mutate data, is not private. I should do a description. It would be wise to
Do as we say, not as we do. Ship
submit.
That's my disclaimer for anything. It's like, do better than I do, even though I'm the example.
Get all board. Okay, so now get all board appears in here. We will add it. We will get it immediately. And we have 638 entries coming over currently.
Doing it this way does not expose the fact that I forgot to get us more current demo data.
So over on column 2, because we've got our leaderboard on the left side here. So over here, we need to rename this. There are certain things that I will say I should do it, but I'm not going to care. Then there are other things that I have to do because it will hurt me later if I don't.
Yeah, that's like trying to hop on like any project. Like I started planning for this episode back in October. And fun fact, Travis was helping teach me all the GraphQL stuff. And then in January, when I was like, hey, let's cover this in UNI Builder, he goes, what are you talking about? I don't remember doing any of that.
I don't even know if I remember how.
So help yourself in the future. Don't just leave things as button 1, repeater 1, column 2, because future you will thank you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. In the comment, me, the moment I leave a project, like the moment I leave a project, all that information is gone. cannot find it anymore.
All right. So next we've got our repeater, and we'll name that one.
uh we have a code with beginners in the chat, and they made a really good point. Today may not be the best introduction to UI Builder if you are brand new to the ecosystem or to UI Builder. I strongly recommend that you check out this link that I'm about to send to Earl if you want to know where to get started with UI Builder. On this link, we have all of our 2024 knowledge labs uploaded. And you're able to go through the labs, get a really good introduction to UI Builder, and see all of the resources we have listed. We've got the Next Experience Center of Excellence. We have a link to this playlist, which you can get started from the beginning. And we also have the Academy and the SN Devs community channel, where we try to congregate together and help answer each other's questions. So you can get started with the crafting of workspaces like a pro, a hands-on learning adventure lab, and then go through to the advanced workspaces configuration, and then build a killer single-page app with UI Builder Lab. Is going to be I think the coolest one. We also have covered these labs in previous episodes of UI Builder Live if you get stuck. And then on the home menu of that website that Earl just linked, sn.works/NE workshops, we also have a build along month initiative where we basically created a bunch of stories for you to pretend you're a UI Builder developer and try to tackle. And then we have videos to help you if you get stuck on any of those. So be sure to check that out. We also, like I said earlier, we have a bunch of blogs on the community site now that I'm going to be adding to this homepage here, so that way people can link out to them and things like that. But overall, if you have any questions on where to get started, the NE Workshops site is going to be 100% your best bet. But otherwise, hang out for the vibes, ask any questions, help me troll Travis.
Definitely don't do that. He got kicked off again.
When
Yay, Earl.
when I upset the intern, me out. They kicked me out.
Okay.
I had someone ask me if we go into these shows after the show goes live and edit me in and out of things. And I had to be like, no, that is Earl live trolling me when I say mean things.
You and I trolling live.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but as I have been working on setting up this repeater, I have killed the performance of UI Builder. It is struggling right now because there's like 700, like 680 or so entries in this repeater, and it has, like, I just clicked on the stylized text and now the pop-up comes up. So it's struggling right now. So I'm going to throw a set limit in here.
I don't think it's going to be very encouraging if I ever invite any internal UI Builder engineers for us to play that noise anytime we have a UI Builder issue. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, jeez.
Where did my things go? They're there.
This show does not need alcohol to Make us giggly and have fun. We can do it sober.
uh, I
So
have to be able to
Travis,
catch my breath to talk.
yes, yeah. So Travis, what are we doing?
All
How
right.
would you best limit the repeater to increase UI Builder performance?
So the first thing I did was just throw a set limit on my query to limit it to the top 10. Um, Basically, you want to limit the amount of data that you're returning. This is the same reason why, like, when you go uh, internally on the list views, why it limits it to like 20 by default. And like, you can change it up to like 100 or so. But you want to limit how many you're showing per page. I mean, this is why pagination exists in large part is for performance reasons. Um,
Now, if we are calculating the stuff on the client side, though, shouldn't we limit on the client side so it gets all the records at once to calculate with?
we probably should. If that's where we're going to do the calculations, I will probably end up removing that set limit. But just to at least get our data binding set up, I need it to be a little bit faster so I can actually write those scripts.
I
And
guess.
that's one of the fun things with the WYSIWYG style of like UI builder and such is that when you accidentally break things, like you're also breaking the tool that you're currently developing in. So
Like live stage preview has been a great enhancement since Washington. Fantastic. Not great in this very one scenario.
yes. So let's see. All right, so we've got our repeater, which for some reason in here is showing 0. I still don't quite understand that one because it works in the preview. Like it's
It
showing
works
stuff
on
in the
my
preview.
computer.
It works on my computer, yeah.
Um,
Um,
maybe clear cache?
that is the
Troubleshooting 101, first step,
yeah.
clear
It,
cache.
it really is. I was working on another project today, or started yesterday, and I got stuck because there was this big error banner telling me that the app I had just created was a private scope. And I was like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? And it just ended up being a clear the UI builder cache and reload, and it worked again.
I think we're getting a lot of commentary from the comments from industry experts insisting we Z-boot the environment live. We should also delete system 32 while we're at it.
Delete the WTF folder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if we could do a poll, I would do a poll, and everyone in the chat wants you to Z-boot the instance. Which the really funny part is that I have not made a backup of anything on this instance since we've been working on it for 2 years now. So if you Z-booted it, I would cry. I would actually cry.
So this is kind of weird because it the data flashes very briefly and then goes away. But I don't think we have any events. Like I don't think we're doing anything to change. It should just load initially and then stay that way.
You know what's really funny? I had the same exact issue last time I worked on an Angular portal. So my immediate thought was, oh, let's check out the server script. But we don't got that here.
Let me do a out of curiosity. Am I throwing an error for some reason? Nope, no errors. This is the weirdest thing.
Okay, focus mode.
So,
first remove the limit of 10.
Okay.
Because I think that's the last change that we did before it stopped working.
It is.
We should have limited on the client side before we refreshed.
So
Oh.
it's
Hmm.
let's see. Would the just a thought. Let me dock my developer tools to the bottom so everybody can share. Let's see if there's something in the next experience dev tools. Does that work in here? Should.
I don't think I've ever used it inside of UI Builder. Interesting. Man, I really hope my new boss is not looking at this episode as their first episode watching the series.
All right, let's do it from this side of this. It's working fine here.
Yeah, it's working fine.
Like, I'm so confused right now. I don't think I've ever seen this one before.
Okay.
That's weird. All right,
How
well,
about
let's.
go back to the well, no, because it's not happening on that page. We can't see if we can trigger another event to happen. Maybe let's put a limit on the repeater on this side and see if that works. Could it be like UI Builder trying to save itself? Oh, we can't put a limit here.
Not yet, anyway. We would have to. We'd have to push it to a client state parameter for that processing. Let me try just. No.
You have to click X and then close out of here and then switch it back to the pencil icon, I think.
Ah, gotcha.
It comes back. So it's something with the data. Oh, but that one goes away. The other side is going away too. We didn't have that issue with it before.
No. This is weird. Is there a second payload coming in by chance?
Something that might work for us is maybe adding a script on each of the 3 results from the data resource to see if any of them are triggering multiple times when it's being previewed. Like,
so,
just have it
like, add something as an event mapping?
yes, and do like a console. Well, I don't remember if it's console.log for this side of things, but just should have the ability to run a script, and we can create it from the script. And now I just got to remember where I have my troubleshooting script saved to.
So like maybe an update client state parameter and run a script from in there?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Let's name it something so we know which one it does.
Oh, yeah, good point.
and then do succeeded. And then we can do the same for the other three in case it's like doing
in
fetches for
case it's
some
hitting one of the
reason.
other ones.
Yeah. I know where my script is. It's not on this instance. Trying to access an
Initiated.
instance and Okta's over here playing 20 questions with me.
And then on the all board as well. Okay, get all board. This one was initiated. And then succeeded. Oops. Okay. Okay, so let's reload and see what happens. Initiated, initiated, succeeded, succeeded. It's only
Then
running
why?
once. Why would it disappear?
What is going on? You want to
And when
know
we
something funny? I'm
hmm,
gonna I'm gonna try to go there myself as well. Because wouldn't it be funny if it was something about your browser cache? Think we're gonna have a riot in the comments for Earl's unequal treatment of us? Exactly.
Wait, Brad, can you go back?
all right, I'm going to rip those scripts out because it's clearly not that.
Brad, can you do that again?
Our intern very clearly did not prepare. Yeah, no, it's happening on my computer too.
This is so weird. The data resources are gone. Do you see this? The data resources are gone. What have I
I,
done?
you know what? You know what, Travis? It only took you 2 episodes to break the program. That's a world record.
Let's see. Is there anything in here?
Christie's advocating for a C boot.
I'm starting to get on board with this idea myself.
No.
No, it's clearly the only option we have at this point.
I mean, honestly, we have only tried 3 things, which are the only 3 things in the whole wide world we should do before we Z boot. So
I've tried absolutely nothing, and I'm all out of ideas.
So I think this is a great place to stop for today. We will take a look and see what is going on. And I promise you, it's going to work the moment we go offline. The moment this stream ends, it is going to work. And I am going to be so salty. But that is tradition. Anyways, thank you all so much for hanging out, watching, and enjoying this plethora of chaos that Travis, as our new co-host, has brought. Remember, we are live on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month. Our next stream is going to be whatever the first Thursday. Wait, no, Tuesday? We're not on Tuesdays. Hang on. We don't do on Tuesdays. That's when I release articles. My bad. Almost had to do 4 shows a month. Look out for new articles on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then the 2nd and 4th Thursday of the month is when we go live. If you have any interest in learning about configuring workspaces and any best practices around that, you should check out the Next Experience Academy that we're going to have on Wednesday the 19th at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find a link to that from the Next Experience Center of Excellence that we've linked here before in the chat and in the description. We're going to be going over best practices for configuring workspaces in UI Builder. Other than that, are there any last messages you would like to leave our audience with, Travis?
I mean, clearly I need to go back to training on this, so I'm going to go back to now learning, take a few courses, and we'll try again in a couple weeks.
Hopefully by then, not only will you have figured this out, but I will hopefully have actually brought more data into the instance so the other script include actually works. So thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chat. It was a blast and a half. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, and hopefully it works next time. Bye-bye.